All right, Commissioner Dowell seconds, Commissioner Dowling's motion for approval of minutes. Amber, roll call. I guess we probably should get a...
Commissioner Hart? Yeah, Commissioner?
What?
Approval of the minutes?
Yes.
Commissioner Hart? Commissioner Dowell?
Aye.
Commissioner Dowling?
Aye.
Commissioner Narwood?
Aye.
Commissioner Sherman? Aye. Vice Chairman Wasden?
I abstain. I wasn't here, so.
Chairman Williams?
Yes, so carried. Under, next item is the call to the public. This is where if you have anything you'd like to address the commission that's not on our agenda tonight, you can please come forward. I don't have any notes, so I would believe that we're not going to have any people address it to call the public, so we'll go on to old business. And our one item under old business is CUP 16004, MOD, Tierra Beni, request to extend the approval date for the project. And who's got that? Mr. Paget, sir?
Thank you, Chairman Williams, members of the commission. As you stated, this is an extension of time request. We had originally talked about bringing this to the June meeting so that the applicant could be here. We delayed this to tonight's July meeting. Originally, the conditional use permit was granted in 2016. Since then, we've had a few time extensions that have been granted based on various reasons of obtaining water, preparing the soil, timing of the weather, etc. So where we are at this point is requesting, the applicant has requested another extension of time to continue her project for the Tierra Beni farm. Bernadette Selna is here this evening with any questions, and I just spoke with her briefly before the meeting, and she does have an update on some of the timing of seeding and future progress, and she'll be available for any questions as well. What I do want to show is just maybe. Just sit here and do it manually. So you can see the sites located along Willard Road on both sides of Willard. This is the conceptual site sketch that they have been utilizing. If you look along Willard Road, this Clover Way here, currently the Frito-Lay warehouse is right in this location here. The applicant will talk a little bit more in detail of what's going on with the seating in this vicinity here. These are some pictures from last year at the last extension request that was granted. These are all from June of 2018. And then we go into some pictures that were taken about a week and a half ago. And this shows the entrance that would be on Clover Way. And that would be at the beginning of the project. Just some site prep showing the rocks that are being screened as the soil is being prepared. And that is the last picture, just showing some of the equipment that they are using. So with that, that concludes what I have to say. If there's any questions you have for me. As I said, the applicant is here also this evening.
Mr. Hart, any questions, technical questions, Jim?
No.
Commissioner Dow?
No, sir.
Vice Chairman?
No, Jim.
Dowling?
None for me?
Mr. Howard?
No questions.
Mr. Okay. I don't really either. Who's here for the applicant?
Bernadette Selma.
Hi, I'm Bernadette Selna, and I'm the applicant for the extension on this farm project. And if you have any questions, I'm here to answer whatever you have. Since I submitted the letter a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, we have, the letter stated that we had not yet seeded, we have. And it's in that area close to in the lower part.
Ready?
Yes, and it's kind of at an angle.
Let me get to the site plan and maybe you can
Yeah,
talk
that'd
about
be
a
better.
number.
Okay, it's number 6.
Number 6.
That area has been seeded. The Dorito place is on the corner of Clover, Crimson and Clover. I mean Clover and our property. And that area, this number 6 area is the area that has the best soil, or the soil that can be seeded right now. The hill between the lower 6 area and the larger 6 area is, yeah, that area has been filled in. That's where we got the fill from the part of the city project. That is the land that is being, the dirt that is being screened, and the rock piles that are being removed. Then we have dirt, topsoil that's being brought in, that's a pile in the corner, around in
Is
that
that
area.
somewhere?
Around in that area. And that is topsoil that is going to be replacing the rocks. As the rocks are going out, and the soil is going to be going, the better soil is going in. And so what we've done, all of the other things that are going on that have occurred is we do have the water connected. We do have the seeds in the ground. We're continuing the soil reclamation. The dirt that was brought in that raised it, that gives us a plateau on that big 6 area, is what we're straining at this point. And we'll take down, we started with taking the Spanish broom out. That would be our next step, is taking that broom back out and leveling it again and reclaiming, doing some reclamation on that soil. That's difficult soil to work with. And so that's where we are, having this seeded. So as the fall comes, what we're planning on doing this fall is putting in cold crops and or winter crops, so they can, they do it, we put them in to reclaim the soil, to put nitrogen in the soil and to turn in the soil. And so that's what we're doing this fall.
Okay. If I may, you had a plan for the whole project 3 years ago when you came in to talk to the time. What's your time schedule now, or what you're thinking for the rest of it? That's this large project.
Once the rocks are cleared, and that's taken a lot more time than we had anticipated. Once those are gone, I would anticipate that we're going to move quickly. But I've anticipated that every time I'm in here too. So I would hope that we're done in a year. I would hope that we have that thing cleared, the top cleared, and that we're up and running and able to move to the other side within a year. Where we want, the other side is where the orchard is where we plan on putting in the orchard. And the orchards are best planted in the fall. Most trees are best planted in the fall. If we can get that done this fall, I would love it. If not, we'll do a different type of planting in the spring. But we want to get the east side of Willard done before we move to the west.
To Mr. Hart?
What did you plant?
It's, Jim asked me that, and I didn't get the exact name of the seed. It is it's a seed that plants and then attaches nitrogen, so we can turn it in, and we'll have nitrogen in the soil.
Is it something like soy or?
Oh no, It would be a crop that it's there are some seeds plants that grow and they attach nitrogen in the roots, and then you turn them in and it releases the nitrogen into the soil. And that is the seed that we planted. And I don't have the name of it. I should have gotten it, but I don't have that, so.
Sort of a sacrificial crop?
Kinda. I mean, there are several crops, like clover is one, alfalfa is one, but it's also invasive or can be. And there are different, those type of crops that you can plant to till in that attach nitrogen, and then as they decompose, they also, the decomposition helps the soil as well.
Have you got a direction yet on the orchard?
Do I have a what?
A direction yet on the orchard, what you're planning on putting
Fruit.
in the orchard?
Apples do well. Cherry, we'd love to do cherries, but we don't have enough, usually don't get enough cold. So apples, peaches, and apricots is what we're looking at now. We're also, we go back and forth between almonds and pecans, but there are plenty of pecans in the valley already, so we'll probably, if we go with nuts, we'll probably do almond. And that's still in the works.
But this is something that is actually going forward. I mean, I get frustrated because I really was looking forward to seeing this happen. And every time I go out there, I don't see anybody working out there. And I don't see the results of any work. I see some very healthy weeds. So I get back to the real question, is this real? Is this something that is really going to be done?
Oh yeah, we have a lot invested in this. We're moving forward on it. It's unfortunately taking a lot of things that happen outside of, like you say, the vision. As you drive by, I mean, I drive by it and I go, God, there's another rock. Where did that come from? You know, I mean, I'm seeing the same thing you are, and it is frustrating. And so we're moving on it, and that's all I can tell you. But we're invested in it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Dow?
I don't have a question, sir.
Commissioner Dowling?
Yeah, I kind of came into this after it already got started. And on a side note, do you remember that grade you gave me in third?
I do remember you were one of my favorite students.
Oh,
Thank you so much. I was saving that one up. Anyway, I like
And your
the.
son too, by the way. I see him every now and again.
Yes, he's a fixture at Ace.
Yeah.
It's the place. Anyway, I don't want to violate any rules. I like the concept of it. I understand how frustrating it can be with timing and getting things moving. I did read up in the back that there was, some waiting for water. So is there anything, now that your reclaimed water is accessible, is there anything, I don't know if I can say, is there anything that can be done to assist? But I guess if we can move it along in some better way, that'd be great to see, but I just like to see that it's happening. To have some agriculture here and some farm-to-table capability at some point, I think will be a great use for land which is otherwise useless or unused.
And that's actually part of, I'm glad you brought that up, because that is one of the parts that's probably not in the original plan, because I consider plat maps, all this legal stuff, and so I didn't want to put that, but part of the organization of this is this farm to table and an education component for people to have places, not the standard community garden type concept, but families working through to where they have plots there to where they can work on it as well.
Commissioner Arwood? Nothing. Commissioner Sherman, any questions?
I think it's a great concept. I think all the extensions probably would be something I would look at. Hopefully that would move along,
Thank you. Great.
So hopefully that would be the case. This is just the first phase of this, right? That
Yes.
you're starting.
And yes, my hope is, the plan is that once this is done, the rest can move quickly. This has taken, this is taking time. They have to move it somewhere and replace it.
Vice Chair.
I'm glad to see you here again. I remember the first time you were here with your brother, and he was all skeptical, and I think this is a worthy project. I'm glad you're here. It's a lot of work. So I think the story you need to tell is you're planting Dorito seeds in section 6 up there. But so yeah, I think continue on with it. I know it's a lot of work, but it's a good cause.
Thank you.
I share Commissioner Hart's frustration a little bit. Because again, when I drive by, I really don't see anything happening. I see, where you've got a rock pile, and I see you're straightening the dirt and getting your rocks out, but I don't see any activity. You have this is a very ambitious project. You have the financial commitment behind it to make it reality.
We
Yeah.
have yes.
All right.
Of course.
I worry about that when I don't see any progress. That's usually, that's one of the biggest problems. I think that we get concerned with. It's good to hear. So you're going to be planning here very shortly? You're going to be planting?
We have seeded that one area.
Okay.
For, so we have already planted, if you will.
All right.
For land reclamation.
Okay. And so you feel that the rest of the east side, pretty much you can get under cultivation by the year end, or?
Oh, the orchard?
No, the east side.
The rest of it. The top layer.
That top.
The plateau. That's. I would hope so. It depends on where we move how we can move the rocks and where we can move them and then bring the soil in.
Do you have crops you can plant in the fall?
There are
too?
cold crops that we can plant.
Yes, you can plant there as well, so it could be an
Once we get
ongoing
the
thing.
soil, the top plateau area is not real good planting soil. We've got to work that soil. And that's one of the reasons that the Spanish broom is there. Their root system is vast, and it unfortunately, because you get the plant on top, but the root system does work in that soil,
Right.
which is, I wouldn't even call it soil, it's dirt.
Right.
But, so that top part, I would not say that the entire top part is going to be done unless by the end of the year. We would have to get a dozer in and do an awful lot more work than, that would take us away from doing the rocks, getting rid of the rocks in that other pile, which is, as we're moving, it would be south.
Right.
With better soil, then it's marching down the land. So it depends on the speed with which we can exchange rocks for good soil.
Thank you very much. I have two cards here for people who would like to speak on this project. Wayne Ott. Wayne, you're first? Yes, please.
Go first.
Wayne Ott's first.
Well, he's asking if I can go first.
What's your name?
I'm Henry Seal. I'm the other one.
All right, sir, if you guys want to swap, that's great. Yeah, would you please give us your name, please, for the record?
It's Emery, E-M-E-R-Y. Last name is Seeley, S as in Sam, E-E-L-E-Y.
Yes, sir. The floor is yours for 5 minutes.
Okay. I'm not opposed to the project at all, and I hope you give her the extension. The one request that I have, if I could come up and show you the pictures.
You have to get back to the stand so we get you on the microphone, okay?
Those are two pictures I took this morning from my back porch. And when they were clearing, and I don't know who it was, but somebody was bringing dump truck loads of brush and what looks like construction material and dumping it on that property. I'm in favor of the usage. I'm looking forward to having the stand and the vegetables and everything. I'm very happy that it's moving forward, The only thing I ask is that that brush, which those of us who live on Aqua Prieta can see from our backyard, where there are ground mice and chipmunks and all kinds of other creatures living in there, I'd like to see that cleared out and gotten rid of, in part because of the aesthetics, but also if there would be a fire, that is additional fuel that could start. And wildfires are something, since I've moved to Arizona, I've become very cognizant of, and I get nervous about it. So,
Yes, well, fine.
yes,
That's a good
that's all
thought.
I have.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Ott, you're next, sir. Here, would you please give us your name for the record,
My name
please?
is Wayne Ott, W-A-Y-N-E-O-T-T.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. I am not against this project either, but I'm very discouraged for lack of progress and lack of activity. Along with the trash, and the trash pile is directly behind my house. If you looked at the map there, on the right side, I live on the far, I'd be right about there. I'm in the far northeast corner of Mesquite Springs. So the back of my house looks directly at the pile of trash. And in fact, there's a tractor sitting there that hasn't moved in about 4 weeks. And the lack of activity, I'm very discouraged about. And I'm not against the project. I'm all in favor of the project. But I would like to see the trash taken care of and disposed of. We were told that would be taken care of, and it hasn't been. And then just to the north of there, there's a large accumulation of tumbleweeds that is also a big fire hazard. And I'd like to see that taken care of. But other than that, I'm in favor of the project. I'm looking forward to seeing it progress along.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Mangini? Selma, it's Selma, okay, that's right, I'm sorry, I
That's all right.
apologize, Bernadette
That's all right.
Selma.
That's okay.
I get that Selma, I used to deal with your grandparents, grandfathers, I think,
Oh,
many years
you
ago. What would you answer to these gentlemen?
I'm not, I spoke with the guy who is working the project, and he said that he had removed all of the trash. There was a pile that, and it would be along, it's where the hill is, that where the tank is, right there, it's in that area. On the other side of that, okay? And there are piles, to my knowledge, and I would have to go walk the fence again. To my knowledge, there was no new things brought in. We took out unbelievable amount. There were people living on that property that we didn't know about. And there was stuff, unbelievable trash that we hauled out of there. So I'll have to go see. I'm not aware of it. I have not walked that fence in a while. So so that all I can say is that when I spoke with Joe, who is doing the work on the property, he said that the piles have been, his words were knocked down. So I'll have to check with him.
Would you
I don't know.
please? Yes, and then the tumbleweeds maybe is.
Tumbleweeds would concern me as well.
Yes.
Very much so. Yeah.
Thank
Especially
you.
this heat.
All right, thank you very much. Any other person want to speak to this item? We don't have any sheets before we close the floor. Okay, with that, I'm going to close the floor to the public and start with Mr. Hart on your comments and thoughts, sir.
Well, again, I get back to basically, I'd like to see this go forward. And the problem that I'm having is that I'm not seeing anything go forward. And I also share your neighbor's concern with anything that are creating fire hazards. Dry brush, that kind of stuff. I think we would need some kind of assurance that the property is going to be, cleaned of that danger.
We'd like to see that maybe as an additional stipulation.
Yes, I think a stipulation to the
Some
effect
timeframe.
that, I'd say within a month. I mean, fire hazard is something that I think you need to address like right now.
Mr. Dow, comments, sir?
Well, I'd approve this, 10 more times. I like the project. I think it's going to add something to the community. But I would echo Mr. Hart's comments. We have to be good neighbors as we're doing it. So again, I would approve it 10 more times extension-wise, but we have to make sure we're being a good neighbor to the rest of the community.
Mr. Dow?
Yeah, I guess I would chime right along with that one. It's just, I don't really want to say this. Everybody likes the concept, everybody wants to see it moving along. I know it's difficult to be at the other end of that and be the one having to steer the ship. I would like, rather than, if there's a way that if some parties could work together to try and expedite this, or in a way that would help everybody out, it would be nice. Or if there was more consistent communication, perhaps, between the people that are concerned and the people that are handling the issue. I would just like to see that moving along instead of just kind of wondering what's happening. And I think that might be part of it, is that if we were informed, or if we were informed along the process, it might help relieve some of the stress and wonder about what it is that's taking place, rather than just kind of seeing an empty lot every time we went by. So maybe some more frequent updates would be good, but I also don't want to, I know that there's a lot of concern about setting a time frame for a project and then extending it and extending it and extending it, and it starts to make it look like maybe we're somewhat inept at what we're doing to try and get the job done or something, not us exactly directly, but I would just like to see some synergy of working together towards getting what we all are after, which is some development of this property.
Commissioner Norwood?
Yeah, I've driven by the project.
Would you put your microphone up? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
I've driven by the project probably once every 2 weeks for the past 3 years, and I haven't really seen, other than the weeds that were there taken away, a little bit of grading, I haven't really seen any progress, particularly in the last year. And it doesn't look to me as if there's going to be much more progress in the next year or two. That's all I have to say.
Mr. Sherman, your thoughts?
My thoughts are, I really like the idea of the project, but being that there have been so many extensions, one after the other, not really having anything else to bring to the table right at the moment, I would say that you'd have to clean that up with the stipulation to clean it up within a certain period of time before you could actually move on.
Okay. We'd have a ability to come back and,
Correct.
yeah, if they,
Correct. Right.
okay. Vice Chair?
I think progress is in the eye of the beholder, and I think there's a piece of property here that has been vacant for many years, and ambitious plans were put forth, and it takes time. And I'm with Commissioner Dowd. I think I'm willing to go along with this because I think it's a good project. And sometimes, as a gardener with some property, rocks and weeds are my best crop sometimes. And putting all this in is a lot of work. And so I think the aspect of being a good neighbor, I think you're very aware of that. And I think you have heard those voices and will take care of that. But I'd say I'm pleased that you're still progressing and doing this, and wish you luck with it.
Yes, I think it, the concept has been great. We were very enthusiastic about getting that piece of land, just rather than just being a vacant tumbleweed parcel. Maybe something can be done with it as an interim use. Someday it'll be developed with buildings and so forth, but in the meantime, to have this community gardens and so forth, it's an exciting concept. It just takes a lot of commitment, and somehow we need to get some equipment out there and additional workers, and that's where I come in with the financial thing. I think that some money needs to be spent to do that. I agree with Commissioner Hart. I would like to see maybe an additional stipulation regarding the trash, any trash on the site, and the tumbleweed, the fire hazard be removed maybe within 30 days or 60 days as a condition for this extension, so that staff will be able to review that, and we can take a look at it, and hopefully you'll be making some progress, and that condition will be met, and then you can just go forward. And overall, we'll probably, I'd recommend another year extension to really get it underway, with this stipulation, though, that Vice Chairman, if we could add that to our number 9 from our original approval.
I move that we approve PCU -16-004-MOD, MOD, time extension, Tara Benny, with the following stipulations. 1, that the project is developed in conformance with the development plans as approved at the Planning and Zoning Commission at the January 25th, 2016 meeting. 2, the project conforms to the Code Review Board comments dated December 24, 2015. 3, parking will need to be reviewed and approved by staff. 4, dust control will be required over the life of the project. Applicant will submit dust control plan to staff for approval. 5, the lighting plan will need to be submitted and approved by staff prior to the installation of any lighting structures. All lighting must meet dark sky requirements and ordinance requirements. 6, all structures will need building permits and approval. 7, a certificate of zoning compliance documenting the completion of conditions shall be issued by the time frame specified. 8.
Excuse me, wait a minute, can we just make that a date certain?
Sure. 1 year from today's approval.
Yes.
8, the City of Cottonwood reserves the right to revoke the conditional use permit if the use creates an interminable public safety problem as determined by the city.
And number 9.
And number 9, that any fire hazard or trash be removed within a 60-day time frame.
Do I have a second to the motion? Commissioner Sherman?
I second it.
Commissioner Sherman seconds the Vice Chairman's motion. Roll call vote, please, Amber.
Commissioner Hart,
Aye.
Commissioner Dowell,
Aye.
Commissioner Dowling,
Aye.
Commissioner Narwood,
No.
Commissioner Sherman,
Aye.
Vice Chairman Wasden,
Aye.
and Chairman Williams.
Aye.
Just if I can add one thing, I just
Yes.
talked to the applicant, and we're going to meet out there Wednesday morning, and I'll come back to you in September, at the September meeting, which is approximately that 60-day
Right.
time frame, and give you a little update and maybe some new pictures of the cleanup and, what has occurred, so that
Right.
you have that
Yes.
comfort.
Maybe
And
some
we-
video too.
Encourage the neighbors to stay diligent and good watchdogs for us, and we'll hope that those problems are at least alleviated somewhat by that time frame. Thank you very much for everybody. Okay, onward to new business. We have Z 19001, 718 North Main Street rezone. Scott, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, Commission. Z 19-001 is 718 North Main Street. Sorry, I'm trying to get this to work here. It's along this stretch of Main Street entering Old Town, about a little over 10 acres. There's 4 zoning districts on this parcel. Realistically, there should only be one. The majority of it is CR, commercial residential. with the remainder back portions being R1, R2, and R3. Currently, there's no proposed project for it. There's no official submittal. But you can't really do anything with it across it. So the city took the initiative to come in and change the entire parcel to CR, commercial residential, since that's what the majority of it is. The property owner is in support of that. He is here tonight to verify that or answer any questions you may have. This was presented to you, I believe, in May to initiate the motion to proceed with this rezone. That's basically all that I wanted.
So tonight we're doing, now we're
This is
doing,
the recommendation to city council
All right.
on the rezone.
okay, last was just to get the process started, right?
Correct.
Commissioner Dowling, you have any questions?
None for me. It seems to be pretty good housekeeping, and I understand this situation exists across the city in various ways and fashions.
Yeah, there's numerous parcels, and looking at each one, we'll get in touch with the property owner if they choose to move forward. This was done at no fault of any property owner, the current or previous ones. For whatever reason, when these zoning districts were created, they didn't follow the property line. Who knows why? But as far back as a 1983 zoning map, this cuts through the parcel like that without following the property line and bases here. So our zoning ordinance went into effect in 1979. So as far back as 83, it shows that issue. There's no history of it being rezoned, and there's no reason to rezone it with that many designations on it.
Mr. Norwood, any questions, sir?
No, it makes a lot of sense to me, the way it's planned. The only question I have is, so are they still independently pieces of property owned by one person, or is it all
No,
one?
it's one parcel. This red outline is one
Okay.
parcel, and these are just zoning
Okay.
district boundaries
Just-
that
okay.
encroach onto the same parcel.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Right.
Okay, makes a lot of sense.
Commissioner Sherman?
No questions.
No questions? Commissioner Hart?
I think it's a really nice piece of land that it would be really great to see something on it. I think it has a lot of potential. I was walking and I was just going, this could be turned into something really nice. So I think it's a really good idea to just get it into one zone so the person can deal with it.
Okay. Mr. Dow?
I like that the city is taking the initiative to identify these and correct it before it becomes something that would hinder a property owner from potentially selling or developing for a period of time. So I appreciate the city's effort in recognizing this and getting ahead of it.
No questions.
Scott, no, that's good. This is just a continuing effort by our staff to go in and clean up language in our various ordinances that are conflicting, and this is definitely a conflict problem and that we have, and I think that's good. All right, does anybody here want to speak to this item? I don't have any cards. I think we pretty well hashed it out last time, and so I'll close the floor. Any further comment?
I think it's a really good idea.
Mr. Bell?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Medella?
Generally, I don't have an issue with it. Looking at the map, I do have one query, and I hope it doesn't open Pandora's box. When we're looking at selecting the zoning we're going to apply, is it pretty much, are we just going to have the same rule for all, being whatever the majority of it is now will be applied to it? Or is there going to be a situation where, I guess what I'm looking at is the differential in densities and values, as in if that property was R2 or multifamily residential, if it would be worth more or less than if it were a commercial residential. Does that play into this at any way?
No, what we look at is what the intended use, or not use, but the intended zone was to be for that parcel.
Right.
So when they came and made this CR district, the intent was to have however many parcels, and we've noticed in other areas, for whatever reason, they came back a certain number of feet
Right.
off the frontage. You see that a lot on the bypass, so they'll come back 200 feet and then be a different zone. So they did that for whatever reason on more of a distance than property line. So the intent on this through here is to keep it CR, to match everything going this way and across the street there. We'll look at each property on a case-by-case basis to see also the land use map, the general plan comes into play, and what the focus area is on the general plan. That has a lot to do with what we would do on these.
So there's a lot of factors that'll go into it. I just wanted to ask that question.
Mr. Norman?
Yeah, I have one question, Scott. Just refresh my memory on commercial residential. I understand the commercial part, but from a residential standpoint, what structures could be put there? Single-family homes, multiple apartments? What would?
As a permitted use, you could do a single-family home. With a conditional use permit, you could do multifamily.
Okay, so could be both
It
underneath?
could be both. Yeah.
Okay.
Commissioner, comments?
No questions.
Okay, no question, comments, all
No.
right. All right, I'm entertaining a motion, Vice Chairman.
I move we approve to City Council Z 19-001, 718 North Main Street rezone.
All right.
I'd like to second.
Mr. Hart?
Too early?
Huh?
Too early?
Did you second it?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Commissioner Hart seconded the Vice Chairman's motion. Amber, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Hart,
Aye.
Commissioner Dowell,
Aye.
Commissioner Dowling,
Aye.
Commissioner Narwood,
Aye.
Commissioner Sherman,
Aye.
Vice Chairman Wasden,
Aye.
and Chairman Williams.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. Next item has been Z 17003, Birkin Vineyards at Old Town. Another request for an extension for approval. Scott, you handling this?
Yeah, thank you again, Mr. Chairman. In June of 2017, the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval of Z 17003 to rezone these two parcels from C1 and R1 to PAD. This was recommendation to council. Council approved ordinance number 627 in August, 627 in August of 2017, granting the PAD, Planned Area Development Zone. This is for a restaurant, tasting room, vineyard, winery, up on the hill right behind us here. The applicant was required, they got their master development plan approved, their conceptual site plan approved. They were required to come back for design review. They have not yet done so. The design has changed from the conceptual one. Overall use was not. They're still intending to use it the way the master development plan indicated what they were approved for. So they had a 2-year time limit from the date of council approval to come in and finish up the project. They weren't able to do that. They did have some issues acquiring some of the properties, so that kind of held them up as well. So my understanding from the applicant who's here tonight to answer any questions is they are very close to submitting for design review. You may see that in the next couple months come to you so they can move forward with that. They have proposed a timeline in your packets that they'd like to follow for the next 3 years. So they're asking for that recommendation to council to extend those conditions for 3 years.
So they're asking for 3 years?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they're gonna phase their moving forward, so.
That was my question, okay, so
But-
we may not get, will design review come in phases also, or?
No, this should come as one package.
All right.
I believe the applicant can clarify that, but my understanding is it's all gonna be one package that gets approved at one time. They're gonna phase the development though, over the course of 3 years to complete it,
All right.
to complete everything.
Same basic concept, or?
Yes.
or-
Yeah, the use, the winery, the vineyards, the restaurant, That's all the same, just different design aspects of it are changing.
Okay.
So the use that they came to get the rezone for is not changing.
Said there's a different owner, but I think it's about the same parties, just maybe juggling around of who's going to be the legal owner.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been the same since it came. And there was, like I said, I think there were some issues with the property acquisition.
Right, okay. So there's not a major change there that we're concerned, all right. Real fine. Commissioner, any questions?
How hard a timeline are they giving you in terms of being able to resubmit for design review?
They need to go to code review first, and my understanding from what I've been told from speaking with them, they're gonna submit for that in the next few weeks. And then once they get comments from that, they'll come back and submit for design review.
And I also noticed that there's already demolition going in.
Yeah, there was a dilapidated building up there. They did get a demo permit, which they can do aside from this.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. I was just wondering whether that was part of the process or it was just something that was in the way that was creating a public safety issue.
Yeah, they're aware of some issues that were going on up there, so they're trying to mitigate that in the meantime.
As I understand it, though, a great part of that building is going to be saved and utilized as part of the fitting structure. At least that was the indication we had 2 years ago, right? They're not going to tear the building down all the way.
I don't believe so.
Oh, okay, well, we'll talk to the applicant. Okay, Commissioner Dow.
No, sir. No question.
Your Chairman. Commissioner Dow, any questions, any technical questions?
No real specific questions. I did see they have a pretty good outline of their timeline there. So you guys to follow that one.
Right. Commissioner Norwood, questions?
Yeah, I have one question. Did the original, when they originally came in, though, not that it makes that much difference, but did they plan for a pocket park and a caretaker's house on the original?
Yes.
That looks like it's new, or?
The caretaker's house was stipulated to come back for possible future code review and design review. When they got to that point, it was gonna be, the way they presented it, it was gonna be far enough in the future that they weren't gonna get that approval at the same time, so it was stipulated that they come back for it.
And the vineyard, the development of the vineyard, that would take care of the entire wraparound, restabilizing the erosion, and that's going to be part of the plan also.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Sherman, any questions?
just answered my
You answered your question? All right, good. I don't really have any other questions other than what I've asked. Scott, who's here tonight for the?
Matt. Matt Lavore for the property owner.
Okay, your name, please, for the record.
Matt Lavore. I'm project manager for Caduceus and Merkin Vineyards.
All right. Give us a little updated run view of what's going on and what you're anticipating.
Yeah, so the demo that's going on up there, we applied for that permit separately. So it'll be about 2/3 of the block walls will be retained and utilized in the new design. The rest of it is gone, and we'll utilize the slab as well because it's in good shape. So, and it'll be, the new design is, we felt like more in keeping with kind of what's around Cottonwood in this area, a little bit more kind of mining, the other design was sort of futuristic.
Yes.
Somebody, the guy in the Verde Independent said it looked like the sinking Titanic.
Yes.
Which I'll never forget. But so the design we feel like is a big improvement.
All right.
And more in keeping with this area, and it looks great. The pocket park looks great. Redesign, local architect. We are hoping to August or September go to design review. That architect is working hard. We just had our code review, so. And the vineyard, somebody's, that's all part of that. That very eroded hillside, right over here, that'll all be kind of tapered down, and it'll all look a lot nicer.
Right,
Yeah.
okay. The original, will the vineyard be phased, will that be sort of at the end of the project, or you'll be doing that right up front?
No, I think that'll happen simultaneously. More or
Simultaneously?
less, yeah. We can, because it's a big project.
Yes, it is.
So it'll kind of be two separate crews working,
Right,
just
but-
working on the vineyards. We have to, there's a lot of cut and fill, there's a lot of shaping. So they'll happen more or less simultaneously.
And there was some discussion originally about the road reconstruction and putting in a sidewalk, and
Yeah, we're
has that been
still
resolved, or?
kind of in the back and forth about that.
All right.
As far as what exactly, like if it's curb and gutter, if it's sidewalk,
All right.
as far as Verde Heights itself.
Right,
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, we're still kind of in negotiations with the town about exactly what that looks like.
okay,
Yeah.
all right. So we'll see something on that when we come to design review, I'd assume.
Indeed, yes.
To be resolved,
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
Anything's better than it is now.
Right, yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Hart, any questions of the applicant?
Well, it sounds like they were addressing the questions that I would have asked, primarily about the road
Yeah.
and the, the coordination between the city and the vineyard
Yeah.
in rehabbing that road. If you're gonna be using truck traffic on it,
Yeah.
that road won't last long.
No, I mean, we're not bringing in anything real heavy. This in terms of the trucks that supply that area.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, this is about time extension, not a design review.
No, yeah, I know,
Okay,
but we're just
sorry.
talking, yeah, I understand that, we're just trying to get a feel for
But anyway-
times and the concept. I wanted to make sure our concept was still on,
Yeah, no, that all their departments have given us feedback, and we're taking it all into account, and
Okay.
figure out what to do over there.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, sir.
Commissioner.
Nothing from here.
Commissioner Norwood.
I don't know if it's proper for me to ask this question, but is the entire project funding in place?
Yes,
Thank you.
sure.
Commissioner Sherman, any questions? Yeah,
No questions.
okay. I think you've basically answered mine.
All right.
Commissioner Dowling and I live right off Verde Heights, and he
Oh,
lives
yeah.
on Verde Heights Drive, so
Yeah.
we're always very concerned about what's going to be going on there.
Well, I think you'll like more what's going in there now.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this time schedule you propose, it seems like right now you're fairly confident that you can,
Yeah.
we always
no,
know there's going to be delays here and there, but.
I think it's a good amount of time. It's a big project when you
Oh,
take
yeah.
into account the grading portion of it, the vineyard, everything. So I think it's a realistic. It seems like a good amount of time.
Right. Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I have one person who'd like to speak on this, Mary Ann Brennan. Please, if you'd give us your name for the record, please, and you have 5 minutes, ma'am.
Marianne Brennan. I live on 675 North Verde Heights Drive. It's the corner property.
Right.
Which is constantly being jeopardized by the increase in traffic we've had over the past few years with Old Town flourishing. 2 18-wheelers. One disappeared from view entirely. I have no idea how he solved this problem when he got down this way. The other one was smart enough to pull into the lot, turn around, and go back where he came from. It's the eye of the needle. I'm the victim. I have had my railing at the edge of the driveway plowed down and a pickup truck in my landscape. I've been run over by a school bus who didn't swing wide enough and took down 3 steel posts, almost the street sign, and the huge rocks I can no longer move. And most recently, Taylor Refuse pushed a button in his truck, extended the grabbers for the garbage pails, and mowed down my steel posts, yet again, including the rocks. I was out, he had pulled down 2 houses past as if it didn't happen, and I spoke to him and he got out and he fixed it. He bent the posts back in place. And we were looking downhill and they all looked very nice. And when he left, I looked at it sideways and they were all 3 sheets to the wind. So the next time he came down the street, I pulled him over again and I asked him to fix it and he did. So that's an ongoing problem, and I'm looking at a guardrail. What do you think? A guardrail on the corner of Verde Heights coming down the hill to protect what's left of my property, so I don't have to hire somebody and send these people an invoice for the damages they do on a regular basis.
Well, we have the city engineer here tonight, maybe you could talk to him after the meeting.
Yeah, I have talked to them, and they suggested the guardrail might be tagged on to this upcoming project because the traffic is going to increase yet again. Also, I wondered, can we have residential area signs at the upper part? I know when there's a business involved, you can't very well do it, but starting at Mesquite Street and thereon, like you have on 12s, to warn people. I mean, we look like a residential area. Anyone with any amount of sanity can see that, but they sure don't drive as if it is, especially not the trucks. And then we have a neighbor that parks halfway into the street and makes it an eye of a needle that a school bus and a garbage truck can't possibly pass each other. One must stop to let the other one by. So that's an ongoing problem. I just want you to be aware of it, because when these projects come, and I'm looking forward especially to the vineyard, I don't have any objection to the project. I'm just wondering what could be done to make it viable to the rest of us. Will the vineyard be watered with gray water, drinking water, what? Do we know?
No, well, that's not in our purview.
No? Okay. And the other thing I wondered, Pima Street is a constant hazard. Can there be no parking designated on this short strip between Main Street and Cactus?
Well,
The sign that the hotel has says parking with an arrow, and people park. They don't realize it means the parking lot across the way that the jurists have kindly provided for that purpose. And when you come from Cactus around the corner, you can't see that there is not enough street because vehicles are already parked all the way up to the corner. Now, Cactus should have 2 parking spaces with no parking and none here. It's not much of a stretch, but it is a serious hazard.
Okay. Well, we have city staff members here tonight, and I'm sure that's something that they would address and, or could address with you and discuss with you and.
Will our street be redone? It's breaking up like crazy.
Oh, yeah, a lot of streets are, unfortunately.
Okay.
They're working on it.
All right. The only other thing is aesthetically, you have people who are affluent enough to rent rooms in this wonderful hotel we have here. They come up to the street to see what's what, and the first thing they see and smell is that dumpster. Sometimes when the wind is right, we can smell it all the way at the top of the street, and not only that, our swamp coolers transport the smell into the house. He should have a surround. First of all, it's ugly. That's abominable, that site. And, well, the smell, and garbage is garbage, I understand, and the heat makes it rise. But if he could be, or she, I don't know who owns it, could be encouraged to put us around, like the quilt shop has, like the tavern has. Aesthetically speaking, it speaks well for Old Town.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. I don't have anybody else would like to speak to this project? If not, I'm going to close the floor. Mr. Hart, your comments and thinking on this extension.
I think that the idea that they're taking the time to redesign it for a future design review is an excellent idea. It sounds like they're coordinating with the city on the street issues. I think they're progressing.
To Mr. Dow, sir, your thoughts?
I just look forward to the project moving along. I think it'll add a crown to Old Town. I like it.
Okay. Mr. Dell.
I would agree. I'm in support of the time extension. When I first got on the P&Z Commission, I did go back and look at previous projects, and I saw that one, and I would agree. I thought, wow, that's kind of forward-thinking. To hear that there's been more redesign with a local architect and you're interfacing with the city and staff is encouraging, and I would like to see it progress.
Commissioner Norwood, sir.
I agree with Jesse. As far as the traffic coming down on the Verde, is it Verde Heights?
Verde Heights.
Verde Heights. Maybe the town can look into perhaps limiting the load or the tonnage of commercial trucks that could come down that road. Maybe there could be a sign over by the circle on Route 89A, just limiting the size of the trucks by weight or something like that. That's all I would really suggest there.
Commissioner Sherman, your thoughts and comments?
Really excited to see this project go forward. It's, it sounds like it's going to be a great
Right.
upgrade
Good.
to the area. And I like the timeline. I think that works. I know things sometimes change along the way, but I
Right.
think the timeline's good.
Vice Chairman.
Great project. Glad you're here. Glad it's going forward.
Yes. Yeah, I was having some concerns with not seeing anything happening, and I know you had some title problems, getting your title insurance and getting it closed, which took some time. And I'm glad that you're hired on to a local architect and designing it more to be in tune with what we have here, but it'll still be a real signature project. It would, to me, would seem like, Verde Heights Drive is, unfortunately, it's the first entry into Old Town. And instead of people going up to Mingus, they head down through Verde Heights, down past my house, on Palo Verde, or they keep on Verde. And I noticed that they get in a real hurry. They hit that little speed bump down there, trails in, but then they really tear around the corner and they tear around that far corner there, heading down the hill, and it seems to be like a race course some days. But I think some of the improvements they'll make with this project will help, and hopefully down the road, the city can come up with a plan to even make it better. But again, we make it too good, and then more people want to go down it. That's the other side of the coin. So other than that, I'm glad to see it's moving along. Exciting seeing that old building go for the most part. It was the ugliest building in Cottonwood, been an eyesore for many years. So be great. Amber, or Vice Chairman, I'll ask you entertain a motion.
Real quick, Mr.
Yes.
Chairman, sorry. At the end of the stipulation, if you could put as indicated in the applicant's phasing plan and list the date of that phasing plan. It's just perhaps as indicated in the applicant's phasing plan dated May 6, 2019.
May 6, 2019. This one time, Scott will allow.
All right, Vice Chairman, it's all yours, sir.
Yeah. I move we recommend Z 17-003 Merkin Vineyard Pizzeria for approval to the City Council. The time extension, same stipulations as listed in ordinance number 627, modifying stipulation number 7, timeline to be 3 years, June 21st, 2022, as indicated in the applicant's phasing plan dated May 6, 2019.
Do I have a second to that motion?
I'll second that motion.
Commissioner Dowling seconds the Vice Chairman's motion. Amber, roll call, please.
Commissioner Hart?
Aye.
Commissioner Dowell?
Aye.
Commissioner Dowling?
Aye.
Commissioner Norwood?
Aye.
Commissioner Sherman?
Aye.
Vice Chairman Wasden?
Aye.
And Chairman Williams?
Aye. Unanimously carried. Wes, keep up the good work. All right, looking forward to it. All right. Before we get on to discussion items, I meant to do this at the beginning of the meeting. We need a congratulations and shout out to our Commissioner Dowell, who recently was named Police Officer of the Year for the City of Cottonwood, and I think that's a really great honor.
Thank you.
You're well deserved.
Speech.
Now he's going to go for Commissioner of the Year.
Speech
same.
or dance.
Thank you.
Discussion items. Robert, you have some wisdom to depart for us. Identify yourself, sir, for the record,
Sure
please.
thing. Good evening, Chairman, Vice Chairman, and Commissioners. Robert Winnicke, City Engineer. June meeting, there was some questions that came up regarding Yavapai Street and what was going to be happening down there, because there's a proposed hotel going on the, I guess it's the southeast corner there.
Right.
So the question is, what's going to happen? That's obviously a narrow street, so we are looking at making that a one-way road, which will go from Main Street to First. Fire department has a requirement of minimum 20-foot wide, 13-foot vertical clearance. So we're looking at basically a 12-foot lane with a rolled curb on the north side of the road and sidewalk. That's kind of what we're targeting right now. So it's still going back and forth. We need a little bit of right-of-way from the property on the north side. There at Yavapai Street, there's 17.48 feet of city right-of-way, and we need at least 20 foot, more like 24 foot to be able to make that work. So we've got a little bit of extra homework to do, so we're trying to work through that right now.
Okay. Mr. Dow, you're the most familiar with this situation, that,
Yeah, right now it's just a two-way, and right now it kind of causes some issues on occasion, so either one way, either way would fix that problem, I think.
And we've talked with the fire department. They indicate their preferences to go from Main Street to the neighborhood.
right.
for
Yeah,
access.
that's good. And he has another thing that's gonna happen for you all, if you're not aware of it. This Friday at 9 a.m. at the Recreation Center.
Correct.
In the meeting rooms.
Yes, we have the ADOT State Transportation Board. They'll be here on Friday morning.
And they're gonna be discussing possible or potential solutions to the 260-89A.
I think that among a whole bunch of other things. We're
Okay.
gonna try and plant some bugs in their ear before then, of course, to say, hey, we have some interest, I'd like to see you do that. Also get them to see some of our local roads. 89A and 260, they're both seeing some deterioration on the existing wear surface. So we'd like to have ADOT take a look at that as well to get some future planning in place to actually fund that.
Right.
To repair it.
Yes, because we have real concerns about that intersection.
That we do.
And the impact that things are happening, and so if anybody would like to attend, I plan to be there. And I think it'd be a good meeting to help us enlighten us on maybe give them some ideas of what our thoughts would be
I think that'd be great.
to do something with that intersection, or bypass it, in my opinion, but,
That'd be good too.
yeah, there you go. Good.
Could you
Yes.
say when and where again on that?
It is at the Rec Center, Cottonwood Rec Center, 9 a.m. on Friday, the 19th.
Yeah. Be in the meeting rooms there, right off the lobby.
Friday.
Yes, this Friday.
Yeah.
Is that 9 a.m.?
9 a.m., yes, sir.
You'll have to get up early, Robert.
I think that's an all-you-can-eat breakfast, right?
That's right.
Baron, you said that.
I think they're actually just serving water. They don't.
Oh, they're just serving the water?
All right.
Well, they are gonna give water though, huh?
It's good water.
That's a guess.
I know, I worked for the state of Arizona for 16 years. I don't know if they would do that
That's
or
an
not.
upgrade, right?
Reclaimed water.
Reclaimed water, yes, sir.
Can I ask my?
Yes, sure.
What percentage input does the town have, let's say, on an intersection like that, that's basically controlled by the state? I mean, how much? Yeah.
I don't know that I can really
It's
give
not
you
a trick
a
question,
percentage. It kind of is a trick question. No, it's basically we can, being the locals, we understand the roadway system a little bit better than ADOT does. I mean, they've got traffic counts and they've got access to crash reports and everything else. We have access to that information as well. But when there's issues that come up, we have dialogue with ADOT to let them know that, these are issues. Obviously, they're aware of the development that's going on that corner, so they know that there's going to be additional congestion coming from it. But more, it's advisory type rule. We say, hey, we know this is going on here. We're having problems with this. Traffic's backing up during the daytime. Can you look at changing the signal timing or something along those lines? So we get with them a bunch of different ideas. We kind of meet every 2 months to go ahead and talk about different things. So it's pretty routine.
It's an issue the city needs to, and really the council and everybody, that really needs to get behind a plan to do something there, because it's, we've got these beautiful 4-lane divided highways coming from I-17 to Cottonwood and from Sedona to Cottonwood, and we dive into this juggernaut down here. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me personally, but, okay, Robert, we appreciate that. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Sir, you heard our residents
comments.
I did.
On the top of Verde Heights. What are your thoughts on making part of that on one side, maybe no parking, like on the upslope going towards?
It's definitely something that can be considered. I'd like to actually speak with the resident after the meeting, get some more information from her about the concerns she has, so that way I can understand the issue a little bit better. But
Yeah, I think could be possible problem when this project's developed up there. If it's very popular, I could see people, running out of parking places and, wanting to park on Verde Heights.
Well, we already
we've had
see
some
it.
issues with that happening.
Yeah, we already see it during some of our
That we have,
festivals,
yeah.
so.
Yeah.
People just end up dragging, it starts here and it just drags its way all the way up to Verde Heights, which can cause a problem.
Yeah,
yes.
we've actually had that during the daytime lunch hour. We've
Oh,
seen
yeah.
some vehicles parking there, and I know we've turned that over to the police department for some special enforcement. And as that continues to be more of an issue, we will definitely have to look at addressing it.
I'm going to piggyback a little bit on that when you're talking about Yavapai Street.
Yes.
And right here, the same question, this is like a narrow street too, and especially there's parking on it, which,
Sure.
so is that something that you guys are thinking about? I know especially when we've got any activity on Main Street, this corridor, and I know the city tries to bank one side, no parking, people still do, but this corner gets used because a lot of people don't want to fight this intersection here. What are your thoughts
I
on?
think that as a long-range plan, as the road actually develops, we'll be able to take into account a lot more of those issues of there being no parking, there being better access to the parking lots. So right now, it's kind of fluid right at the moment,
Yeah.
but it will be something that'll be looked at.
And one other comment while we're talking about this, I love the bike rack. Is there any way that on the street surface it could be defined with something, because it's like right out there and I don't think anybody's aware of what that is. And if there was some definition, a red line around it at the base of it that would call that out, that would
There'll actually be a gore area coming around
red,
there.
okay,
Into
purple,
red.
would purple?
Purple works.
Okay.
That is coming as we do the road diet. We'll actually come and redo the striping in Old Town as well. So that should be coming up later this
So
summer.
are you on record for saying it will be purple? Are you on record for saying it will be purple?
No.
It's not a standardized color.
Not really. Any other questions or? Robert, thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Look forward to seeing you Friday morning.
Sure, sounds good, thanks.
All righty, thank you. Informational reports and updates.
I don't have anything at this time.
Oh, what was this, tax rates, or what's that item? Tax rates for hotel lodging and short-term rental? It said under informational reports and updates. That didn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
It's not supposed to be
On my
there.
agenda,
So
okay.
please ignore that.
Okay. Mr. City Manager, have any words of wisdom for tonight? All right, sir. That sounds good. We appreciate your attendance, and other members of the staff as you're well. Yes, sir.
Maybe something for a future meeting. I know a couple months ago we talked about this that was brought up, the trash receptacle, where the screening and whatnot, and that is something that is on main corridor, and so now it's coming back from the public. Maybe there's something in the works.
I think you already locked it, sir. It was locked. You
I
locked
tried.
it.
We're working on that. We're working with the owners to create a contract use of right-of-way like we did with the other businesses. We're actually sort of waiting to see what the plans are for the project you just approved the extension for. We didn't want to create something that's not going to fit with the design or what side of the road we put the sidewalk on or walking trail. There's just a lot of unknowns given that narrow path up the road that we didn't want to enter into a contract or an agreement until that was done. So they're on notice that something will have to be done to continue to use because the trash can is actually in our right of way. But kind of waiting to see what the Galileo turns out to do, agrees to do with the road and the sidewalk.
Gotcha. Thanks.
All right, real fun. Yes, sir.
I'm just curious, not you, sir. I'm just curious, the Circle K, there's a lot of questions about them redoing the front, because they're redoing the front of the Circle K now, as people are freaking out that the other Circle K isn't going through. Do we know anything about that?
Well, that property is not owned by the Circle K, so
I figured it
the
was just a
property,
refinishing or refurbish. front.
so property owner is doing that,
Okay.
so, but they are still moving forward with the new location.
Okay. It was just, people got concerned when
Yeah.
they saw the other place getting fixed. They're like, uh-oh.
Yes. Okay, if there's nothing else, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
I motion that we adjourn.
I second it. Meeting adjourned.